Hello and welcome all to eMath. So this is a free initiative for all SSLC students of Karnataka. Okay. So in this video today I'm going to discuss about the chapter quadratic equations. Okay. Yeah. So firstly we have to know what is a quadratic equation and then the methods of solving a quadratic equation. Okay. Right. So firstly we will have to define what is a quadratic equation in a formal manner, right? Okay. So the equation says something like this. Okay. An equation written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Okay, ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, comma, where a is not equal to 0, okay, and a, b, c, a, comma, b, comma, c are the real constants. That means it can be a, b, c can be any kind of real numbers, okay, yeah. So they are called the real constants, okay. So it's called a quadratic equation. Yes. So, what does the actual definition says? It says that an equation that can be written in the form of ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a should not be equal to 0, and also we have a, b, c should be a real constants. Okay. So equation written in this particular way will be called as a quadratic equation. Okay. And whatever we write ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 will also be called as the one of the standard form of the quadratic equation. Okay. So this is called the standard form of a quadratic equation, where the coefficient of x square, that is a, should be a non-zero number, and also a, b, c belongs to R. R means the real numbers. A, B, C are real numbers. Okay. So this is what the definition of a quadratic equation says. Right. So if you want to give some examples here, example for a quadratic equation would be something like this. Example number 1, say some x square equal to 1. Then say something like 2a square plus a minus 1 equal to 0. This is also a quadratic equation. So these are the examples of a quadratic equation. Okay. So this is about the definition and the standard form of a quadratic equation. Now coming to the types of quadratic equation. Let us see how many types are there. So this is about the types of the quadratic equation. Okay. So basically there are two types of quadratic equation. One of them is about the pure quadratic equation, okay, and the other one, second one, is about adfected quadratic equation. Okay. So pure quadratic equation is a quadratic equation in which expression will be written of the form ax square equal to 0, where a should not be equal to 0. Okay. The x terms will not be there. So ax square plus c equal to 0. Equation that in this particular form will be called as a pure quadratic equation. And then talking about the adfected quadratic equation, it's the standard form of the quadratic equation, which is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Okay. So equation written in this form will be called as an adfected quadratic equation. So these are the two types of a quadratic equation. Okay. Now let us know about how to solve the quadratic equation. Okay. Yeah. Solving a quadratic equation. Right. So as we all know that there are three different types of solving a quadratic equation. Namely, the first one is about factorization method, the normal way which we usually use use to solve the quadratic equation is this, right? So it's called the factorization method. And the second one, it's about completing the square method. Completing the square method, okay? And the third one, it's about the formula method, okay? So these are the three different kinds of solving a quadratic equation are there, okay? So let me take problem individually and let me show you how to solve these three methods of solving a quadratic equation are there, okay? Right. So among them, the first one would be factorization method, right? So let me take the first one and let me show you how to solve it, how to solve a quadratic equation by using factorization method, okay? Right, now consider the equation something like, for x square minus 3x minus 10 equal to 0, some equation like this, okay? So if you're gonna consider the equation like this, write the equation and then we need to use the factorization method here to solve it, right? As we all know that the highest degree of the x will be always equal to 2 for any quadratic equation, right? So since we have 2 here, we will be having two different roots of this equation. Roots means values of the number of zeros for this particular expression or this equation, okay? So x square minus 3x minus 10 equal to 0. So what we need to do is the first step, multiply first and the last terms. The first term is our x square and the last term is going to be minus 10, right? What if you multiply them? What we get is minus 10x square. Minus 10x square is what we get, right? And now you just write a tree diagram something like this, okay? And now what we do is we have to find two numbers, two equal numbers or two different numbers, such that if you add them, you have to get this much. That is the middle term minus 3x, okay? And the same numbers, if you are going to multiply them, we need to get minus 10x squared. And the question is now, what are those numbers? The factors of 10 are, we all know it's 2 and 5, right? Let me write 2 and 5. Since we have to get x square here, I will write 2x and 5x. And middle term we have negative 3 here. So to get negative 3, the greater number should be negative and the smaller number should be positive. Now if you can easily verify. See, minus into plus, minus 2 times 2 into 5 is 10, x into x is x square, and this is satisfied. And what if you add these two numbers, plus 2x and minus 5x will give us, one of the number is negative and the other number is positive. So we need to subtract the numbers. So 5 minus 2 is 3x is what we get, and the highest number sign should be taken. So we have a negative sign here, so take minus 3x. And this minus 3x is there in the middle term. So the two numbers what we have written here is satisfied, okay? So we need to take these two numbers and factorize this particular equation, okay? Right. So x squared and then this minus 10 equal to 0. So first term and last term I will write as it is, okay? And the middle term I am going to split this middle term like this way, right? Minus 3 can be splitted as plus 2x and minus 5x like this. And then first term and the last term is written as it is equal to 0, okay? Now consider the first two terms. If you are going to take x as the common factor, the highest common factor we need to take outside the bracket, okay? And the terms which are remaining, that should be written inside the brackets, okay? So x multiplied by x plus 2 is what we get when we take common factor as x. And then considering the next two expressions, the common factor is about just negative 5, right? So the terms which are remaining is x plus 2 equal to 0. So now we have x plus 2 as a common factor. So writing x plus 2 in one pair of the brackets. In the next pair of brackets, what we get is the remaining term, the terms which are present outside the brackets, that is x minus 5, and that must be written here and equated to 0. So if the product of these two terms is equal to 0, okay, then either x plus 2 equal to 0 or x minus 5 should be equal to 0, right? and that means x will be equal to plus 2 goes that side, so minus 2, okay, or x will be equal to minus 5 goes that side, so it's plus 5. So our roots are minus 2 and 5. So 5 and minus 2 are our roots of this particular quadratic equation, okay. So this is how we solve any kind of an equation by using factorization method. That is the first method which I showed you, okay. And then considering the one more problem of the same kind, I'll show you how to factorize it by using, how to solve the quadratic equation by using completing the square method, okay. Right, we'll take another equation for that. Yeah, so the second method is all about completing the square method of solving a equation. Okay, consider this particular problem, right? X square minus 6x plus 9 equal to 0. For example, some equation something like this, okay? Let me try to solve this equation by using completing the square method, okay? Yes, so x square minus 6x plus 9 equal to 0 is there, okay? So x square minus, so you can just see the middle term here, it's negative 6x, right? So what if you express it in this way, right? Like, 2 times a times b, 2 into a into b, okay? So 2 into, in place of a we have x here, and in place of b we need to look at the number which should be multiplied to 2x to get 6x. What is that? It's 3, because 3 should be multiplied to 2x to get 6x, right? So the number is 3, and then whatever we have the number for 3 here, we need to add its square and then subtract its square of that number, okay, and then write the last term as it is plus 9 equal to 0. This is the only step which we need to understand in more easily, okay, and the rest of the things you can anyone can do very easily, okay. Yes, now if you consider the first 3 terms, the term is of the form a square minus 2ab plus b square. So we can express this particular expression of the form x minus 3 the whole square, because of the formula a minus b the whole square, right? So you can either any kind of a quadratic equation in terms of a square plus 2ab plus b square, or of the form a square minus 2ab plus b square, where if you expressed in this particular form, any equation, expression can be written in this way, that is a plus b the whole square, or if you want to express in this particular form, then it can be expressed in the form of a minus b the whole square, okay, right. So the same way, this particular form it's right here, so in place of a we have x and in place of b we have 3 here, right? So it can be expressed in the form of x minus 3 the whole square, right? Okay, minus 3 square is 9, and then plus 9 as it is equal to 0. As we can easily see that plus 9 and minus 3 can be cancelled each other, or in other words 9 minus 9, how much? 0, right? Okay, so the remaining term will be x minus 3 whole square will be equal to 0. Since we have whole square here, two things we can do here. Either we can take square root on both sides and express x is equal to 3 and 3, that is one thing, and one more thing is, since we have whole square here, the same term x minus 3 is itself multiplied 2 times and then equated to 0. This is how we can write, right? So if the same way again, so if the product of two different terms is equal to 0, then it means either the first term, that is x minus 3 equal to 0, or the second term which is again x minus 3 equal to 0. So x will be 3 or x will be equal to 3, right? So 3 and 3 are the roots of this particular quadratic equation, okay. So this is how we solve any kind of a quadratic equation by using the the completing the square method, okay, right. Hope you all understood well. Now we will go to the third method called formula method. Let me consider the equation something like x square minus 2x plus 5 equal to 0, something like this, okay. I will try to show you how do you solve this kind of a quadratic equation? By using the formula method, right? And we all know that quadratic formula can be derived by a mathematician, Indian mathematician by name called Sridharacharya. So it's called Sridharacharya's formula, right? So the formula is given by x will be equal to minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac whole thing divided by 2a. This is the quadratic formula. It has found by the Indian mathematician by name called Sridharacharya, right? Okay. So let me write the standard form of a quadratic equation first. That is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, right? So after writing this standard form of a quadratic equation, we can always say that the coefficients of a, b, c are some real numbers, right? So in place of a we don't have any number here, so it is understood that 1 will always be there. Saying x square is the same as just saying 1x square, right? So the coefficient of a will be equal to 1. Similar way, the coefficient of b is how much? -2, and the coefficient of c is 5. Okay. So keeping these these values in mind, after writing the formula, we just have to substitute the values of a, b, c, and this whole formula, and then compute the value of it, right? Okay. Let me try to do that now. So x will be equal to minus is there, I will put as it is. Okay, the value of b is how much? -2. So -2 is written inside the brackets because it's a negative integer, right? So minus of -2. This is how I write. And then plus or minus square root of b square. So b square means we need to take -2 the whole square. Okay. So minus 4 into a is our 1 and c is our 5. Then the whole thing divided by 2 into the value of a is 1. Okay, let me try to compute this particular value. Right, minus of -2 will be positive 2, plus or minus square root of -2 the whole square is positive 4, minus 4 into 1 into 5 is how much? 20. Whole thing divided by 2 into 1, 2. Okay, so 2 plus or minus 4 minus 20 is how much? You will get a negative value, right? It's about something like -16, right? -16 whole divided by 2. Okay, and the rest of the things as it is. We can remain this itself as our answer because square root of a negative number is not at all defined anywhere in the set of all real numbers, right? It is only defined in the set of all complex numbers, which is beyond the scope of your syllabus. Hence, we will keep as it is. We will remain as it is. Okay. So x will be equal to 2 plus square root of -16 divided by 2, or x will be equal to 2 minus of root of -16 divided by 2. So these are the two different kind of solutions that we have in this the formula method, right? So these are the three methods of solving a quadratic equation. Now I just want you to introduce some two application based problems and then solve it for you. Okay, right. In that right. So there is a question here. So find two numbers whose sum is 27 and whose product is 1 to 182. Right. We need to find out two numbers. Two numbers is question mark. So that their sum is 27 and whose product is 182. So this is one kind of a application based problem, right? Somewhat looks somewhat like tricky, right? So what they are given is this: analyze the problem easily in this particular way. Okay. So sum is 27 and whose product is 182. So what I do is, let me take two numbers. Let x and y be two numbers. Okay. So that the sum will be, that means x plus y is how much? 27, and the product, that is x times y, equals 182. So this is what is given in the question. Yes. So now what I will do is, I will express this is in two variables, this is also in two variables. So what I do is, I have to express any one of these two equations only in terms of the one variable, either in terms of x or either in terms of y, right? So what I do is, I will solve for the value of y in this equation. So x plus y equals 27 means y will be equal to 27 minus x, right? So let me call it as equation number 1, and equation 1, and let me call it as equation number 2. Now substitute equation 1 in equation 2. What do we get? We get x into y is there, right? So x as it is, and in place of y I need to replace this whole thing. So it's 27 minus x, that will be equal to 182. Okay, so that implies if you multiply, then you know what you get is minus x square and plus 27x will be equal to 182. Since the coefficient of x square is having its negative sign, so we transpose both these two terms towards my right side of the equation, right? So that the sign changes, right? So x square minus 27x, and then the sign of 182 is not changing, so it's positive 182, that will be equal to 0. Now we need to solve this equation now. Okay, so as everyone knows that factorization method looks like simpler one, right? So I'll use that particular method. So 182, what are the factors of 182? 2. Since it's an even number, I'll start dividing by 2. What I'm doing here is, I'm just finding all the factors of 182 so that I can easily split the middle term, which is minus 27x. Okay, yeah. So 2 into 91 times, 91 is an odd number, it's not divisible by 2. So I'll take something 13 times 7. That's the problem, right? So the factors of 182 are here 2, 7 and 13. Only these are the three factors we have, right? So to get 27, what is that one? The two numbers, two different numbers that I should split here so that the sum of those two numbers will be exactly 27. That's my question. So we have 13 here, looks like a quite bigger number. So I will take 13 one group, and on the other hand 2 times 7 is how much? 14. Okay, 13 times 14 will give us 182. Okay, the product is satisfied, that is 182. Now what if we add 13 and 14? Do we get 27? Yes, I am getting 27, but we have negative sign in the middle term, right? So what I do is, and the product should be positive here. Okay, so what I do is, both minus 13 and minus 14, both the signs should be negative, so that I will get negative 27 here, right? So I'll split the middle term here, like minus 13x and minus 14x, and the last term is written as it is, equal to 0. And now taking out the common factors, x times x minus 13, and in the second two terms it's minus 14 into x minus 13 again, equal to 0. So x minus 13 times x minus 14 will be equal to 0. So either x minus 13 equal to 0 or x minus 14 equal to 0. So x will be equal to 13 or x is equal to 14. So 13 or 14 are the two roots of this equation, which indirectly it says that the two given numbers here in place of x and y, we can easily say that the value of x is 13 and the value of y is 14. And if you want the verification, you can always do, see, they are saying that there are two numbers such that their sum is 27 and the product is 182, right? So find its sum. 13 plus 14, as we have seen here, it's 27. Sum of these numbers is 27, and the product is also, we have already seen that 13 to 14 is 182, right? So the required numbers are 13 and 14. This is how we do one of the application based problems. Okay, right, we'll take one more. Yes. Yeah, this will take now. Okay, so yes, the altitude of right triangle So there is a right triangle. When I say the question, it means it's a question from based on geometry, right? So when I say the first sentence, the altitude of a right triangle is. So it means that altitude means a perpendicular height, and the right triangle is what I drawn here. Okay, immediately as soon as I read the question, you could be able to write this. Okay, right. So this is the right triangle. Okay, this is its perpendicular height. Let me call it as the triangle ABC, where it is right angled at B, angle B. Okay. Now what they are saying is, let me call it as something. This is A, this is B, and this is C. Okay. A, B, C. Okay. Altitude is now our A, right? So A is our altitude. A is nothing but 7 centimeter less than its base, they are saying. So if this is the base B, 7 centimeter less than B. Is it 7 minus B or B minus 7? Whatever, right? A is equal to 7 minus B is what they have given us, and the hypotenuse is going to be C equals 13 centimeters. That is what given the question. And what they are asking is, find the other two sides. Find the lengths of other two sides is what they are asking. Okay. So how do you solve this kind of equation? So solution starts from here. Okay. So from PT, it means Pythagoras theorem. Okay, since it's a right triangle, one can always use the Pythagoras theorem, right? So from Pythagoras theorem, according to this particular triangle, whatever I have done here, what it says, it implies that the hypotenuse square, this is our hypotenuse, the longest side, right? So C square will be equal to the sum of squares on the other two sides, that is A square plus B square. Okay, this is what I get from the Pythagoras theorem. Okay, now let me substitute the values of these now. Okay, C is 13 they have given us, so 13 square will be equal to A is 7 minus B. Okay, since we have A square, I can write it as 7 minus B the whole square plus B square as it is. Okay, so 13 square, what is the value of 13 square? 13 into 13, which is 169, will be equal to 7 minus B the whole square is there, right? So you can always use the formula A minus B the whole square. Okay, so this is our A square minus B square, this is minus 2AB plus B square, and then the last term B square is written as it is, right? Now 169 and equal to 49 minus 14B plus B square is going to be 2B square, right? So now I will bring this 169 towards my right hand side of the equation, so that no term remains here, so 0 will be equal to what? 49 minus 169 minus 14b plus 2b square. If I am going to rearrange this equation again, we get 2b square and minus 14b, and then 49 minus 169 is how much? This is 0 to 120, right? Equal to 0. This is what I get, right? So to reduce this particular equation, what I do is divide the whole equation by 2. I get b square minus 7b minus 60 equal to 0. Okay. Now I have to find two numbers such that their product is 60 and their sum is minus 7. How do you do that? We need to find the factors of 60, right? Yes. So 60 is, okay, let me find the factors of 60. 2 into 30, and then again by 2, 15. Now by 3, it's 5. That's it. Okay. So yeah, the number will be, I think I will group these three numbers and then this number separately. Okay. So what I get is 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 3 is 12, and the 5. Okay. So the product of 12 times 5 is 60, and 12 minus 5 will be 7, and that's how many terms, right? Okay. So 12 and 5 are the factors. So by solving this equation, what we get is b square minus 12b plus 5b minus 60 equal to 0. Why? Because we have negative sign in the middle term. So the greater number should be having its negative sign and the lesser number positive sign, right? So when we take the common factors here in the next step, we get b times b minus 12 and plus 5 is the common factor. The remaining will be again b minus 12 and that will be equal to 0. Okay, so b minus 12 multiplied by b plus 5 equal to 0. So either b minus 12 equal to 0 or b plus 5 equal to 0, and finally what I get is b equals 12 or b equals negative 5. As we know that base of any kind of a triangle cannot be negative value, we will just omit this value and we only consider this particular value. Okay, so base is our 12 centimeter. Base is 12 centimeter. Okay, so we have found the value of base, and now let me find the value of the A, that is altitude of the triangle. Okay, so as I know that A is equal to 7 minus B, A equals whatever I told you, or I told you earlier, right? So either 7 minus B or B minus 7, whatever will take, it will fetch you the same answer, right? So B minus 7 will be 12 minus 7, that is 5 centimeter. So our altitude is equal to how much? 5 centimeter. If you would have taken 7 minus B, it will fetch you negative 5, and the altitude of the triangle cannot be negative 5. You can always take 5 centimeter as its value. Okay, right. So this is how we find the sides of the triangle. So this is one kind of an application based geometry based problem. Okay, so this is how the quadratic equations is all about, and then we are left with one more topic, one last topic of this chapter called as nature of roots, right? Yes, it's about nature of roots. So what is this nature of roots? So we all know the formula, right? Quadratic formula. We have x will be equal to minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac, the whole thing divided by 2a. Okay, this is what we know already, right? In this formula, what if we only calculate this particular value, that is the b square minus 4ac, right? And that itself will be called as the nature of roots, right? For any kind of an equation, if we are going to solve this particular value of b square minus 4ac, if that value is depending on whether it is 0 or whether it is greater than 0 or whether it is lesser than 0, we can always say what kind of nature that the root always exists. Okay, that is what nature of roots means, right? Now as I already told you, depending on this value, right, and this value we call it as, in some books they will use the letter D, it's called discriminant. Okay, the value of finding b square minus 4ac will be called as discriminant. In some books they will use the word as D, the letter as D. In some books they will also use this small triangle, which will be called as delta in Greek language, delta. Okay, and that's called discriminant value, and the formula is given by b square minus 4ac. So find out, by finding this value and knowing that whether it is equal to 0 or greater than 0 or lesser than 0, we could be able to find out what nature of the roots can be having that for that particular quadratic equation. Okay, right. So now there exists three different possibilities. Okay, case 1 under that, what if the value of b square minus 4ac, which is denoted as delta, is greater than 0. What if delta is greater than 0? That means any positive value. Okay, so if it is any positive value, then we can always say that the roots are real and distinct. Real and distinct. Okay, so if delta is greater than 0, we can always say that the roots are real and distinct. Okay, that means if this particular value is a positive number, then the roots will be a real number, and also the roots will be distinct. Distinct means different. So we will get two different set of values for the value of x. Okay, right, this is the meaning. And then coming to case 2, what if delta is exactly equal to 0? If it is exactly equal to 0, then we can say that the roots are real and equal. Real and equal. So the meaning of this is, after finding this value, if it is exactly equal to 0, then it means that the roots will be a real number and also it will be equal. X is equal to 3, x is equal to 3, something like this. Okay. So the roots will be real number and also they will be equal if it is equal to 0. And similarly, the last case, the last possibility is, what if delta is a negative number, that is, what if it's less than 0? So if it is less than 0, we get the roots are imaginary. Imaginary means there can be something which is which is not a real number, some number which is not a real number. For example, in the previous problem I might have showed you, like, the square root of minus 16 have come, right? The equation of that kind of thing. So those equations will be having its roots which are imaginary. Okay. So when you get a root of negative number which is not at all defined in the real number, those kind of equations will have the imaginary roots. Okay. Now I'll just give you an example, one particular example, and show you how this 3 cases works. Okay. Let me take this kind of an equation, something like x square minus 4x plus 1 equal to 0. Okay. Let me find delta equals b square minus 4ac now. But before that, we need to have a set of ABC values, right? So if I am going to convert this, if I am going to compare this given equation with the standard form of a quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, what I get is the value of a is 1, the value of b is minus 4 and the value of c is 1, right? Substituting these values here, what do I get? We get minus 4 the whole square, minus 4 times a is 1 and c is also 1. Okay. Negative 4 whole square is 16, minus 4, which is 16 minus 4 is 12, and the value of delta, what we are getting is a positive value, right? That means this is greater than 0. If this is greater than 0, we can always say that therefore the roots are real and distinct, right? It satisfies, like, it verifies this particular result, the case 1 for the first possibility, right? What if it is greater than 0? We have the roots which are real and equal, real and distinct, right? Suppose if this value is exactly equal to 0, we say that the roots are real and equal. Suppose if this value itself is a negative value, then we say that the roots are imaginary and not real. Imaginary means that itself means that it is not a real number. Okay. So this is how we find. This is just one example of how do you find the nature of roots of a quadratic equations. Okay. I think this is the end of my today's session of quadratic equations. Okay. And in the next session, we will see about the next chapter, which is Introduction to Trigonometry. Okay. Right. So I think this is the end of my session. Please do like, share, and subscribe my channel and my videos. Thank you. Thank you so much.